The story begins with our hero Tanaka Makoto, a 24-year-old office worker trapped inside the brutal system of the Black Dog Hunter Guild. While the rest of the city sleeps, he is still working. His eyes are half open, his mind barely holding on as he quietly lists his impossible quota. 5 A-rank trolls, 4 basilisks, 3 S-rank tyrant dragons. And somehow, he is expected to handle all of it alone. An energy drink sits in his hand like his last lifeline. It is already past 10 p.m. at Black Dog headquarters, and Tanaka looks less like a hunter and more like a ghost. Dark circles sink deep under his eyes, almost like bruises. His desk is buried under piles of paperwork. He glances at the time. Not that it matters anymore. When was the last time he slept properly? 2 days ago? 3? At this point, time doesn't feel real. It's just a countdown to the next task. A quiet sigh escapes him as he stares into the empty office. His thoughts repeat the same thing over and over. He just wants to sleep, but the company doesn't care. Not about his health, not about his limits. Only results matter. And honestly, yeah, that's already a bad sign. To understand how he ended up like this, the story goes back 10 years. That's when everything changed. Mysterious structures known as dungeons suddenly appear all over the world. Inside them are monsters, deadly, unpredictable, and completely beyond human understanding. But alongside the danger comes something else. Opportunity. These dungeons hold rare materials, advanced technology, and treasures that change the world overnight. And just like that, a new profession is born. Explorers. People who risk their lives to enter these places, chasing fame, money, or sometimes just survival. Of course, courage alone isn't enough. Without power, entering a dungeon is basically signing your own death certificate. These places are crawling with monsters that see humans as food. But then, something unexpected happens. A small number of people awaken special abilities. They gain strength far beyond normal humans. They can use magic, fight monsters, survive the impossible. These awakened individuals quickly become humanity's strongest defenders, the stars of a new era. Now, back to the present. Tanaka stands inside a crowded train, swaying slightly with emotion, his face pale and lifeless. Around him, people talk, laugh, and scroll through their phones. Teenagers nearby are excitedly discussing dungeon streams. On someone's screen, a popular D-Tube streamer celebrates after defeating a monster, smiling, full of energy. For them, dungeons are entertainment. For Tanaka, they are just work. He watches quietly, too tired to even react. Streaming never crosses his mind. While others chase fame, he's been stuck chasing deadlines. That's his entire life. Work. As he taps his transit card, a small thought slips into his mind. How much do those streamers even make? He immediately brushes it off. It feels pointless, like something from a different world. Because honestly, it kind of is. Soon he arrives at his destination, the Shibuya Underground Dungeon. A massive high-security zone where danger isn't a possibility. It's a guarantee. He walks to the entrance and shows his ID. The receptionist gives him a quick, "Good luck." It sounds polite, but there's a hint of doubt behind it, like she's not sure he'll come back. In front of him stands the entrance to the Onigawa dungeon, carved like a giant skull. Dark, silent, waiting. For most people, this place is terrifying. For Tanaka, it's just another shift. He takes a breath and prepares to begin. Then suddenly he pauses. Oh, right, he almost forgot. From his pocket, he pulls out a small floating drone, company equipment. It activates with a soft hum, hovering beside him. In this job, if it's not recorded, it doesn't count. The drone's camera locks onto him, ready to send everything back to the guild server as proof of his work. No shortcuts allowed. Well, at least that's the idea. Tanaka pulls out his phone to set up the stream, his fingers clumsy from exhaustion. His vision blurs as he tries to focus. He means to send the footage to the company server, but his thumb slips. And for a split second, it hovers over D-Tube. Before he can even notice, dizziness hits him hard. His body finally starts to give in. He stumbles forward, nearly collapsing onto the ground. The guards nearby rush toward him as a thin line of blood runs from his nose. He insists he's fine. But, yeah, he really doesn't look fine. One guard even mutters that he looks more like a corpse than a hunter. And honestly, they're not wrong. Tanaka reflects on the past 2 weeks. A 2-hour nap today. No proper rest in 14 days. The Black Dog Guild truly lives up to its reputation. Standing at the edge of the dungeon, staring into the darkness below, his thoughts begin to fade. When was the last time he actually felt rested? He can't remember. And in that moment, something feels off. Why is he even doing this? The Black Dog Guild is technically tied to the government. It sounds impressive, but the reality is ugly. They take on the worst jobs, the ones no one else wants, and they do it by pushing their workers to the edge. People like Tanaka, he knows it. He knows this job might kill him someday, but quitting? That doesn't even feel like an option. So instead, he steps forward, deeper into the darkness. His phone still in hand, he adjusts the settings again, barely able to see the screen. Everything looks fine to him, but it's not, because instead of sending the footage privately, it's now streaming live to the public. Yeah, that's definitely not normal. Tanaka fixes his tie and straightens his suit like it's just another workday. To him, this isn't a life-threatening mission, it's overtime. As he walks into the dungeon, the drone silently follows, broadcasting every step to an audience that has no idea what they're about to witness. His tired eyes show no hope, no excitement, just exhaustion. Meanwhile, on DTube, a few viewers randomly stumble onto the stream. At first, they're confused. A man in a suit, alone, entering the Shibuya dungeon? The title says, "For Company Records." Some of them laugh, calling it a suicide stream. Because let's be honest, it kind of looks like one. But then they read the quota. 5 trolls, 4 basilisks, 3 tyrant dragons. Wait, what? That's not a solo mission. That's a death sentence. The chat starts filling up fast. People begin questioning everything. Is this guy really from the Black Dog Guild? Why isn't he on any official list? Tanaka, completely unaware, just keeps walking, quietly complaining about the dust. The viewers stop laughing. Now they're concerned. And as word spreads, more people start joining. The numbers slowly rise. Because what they're watching doesn't feel right. It feels wrong. Tanaka moves deeper into the dungeon, stepping across rough terrain with quiet precision. Even in his exhausted state, his experience shows. He knows this place well. Too well. He reaches a massive drop leading to the lower levels and looks down into the darkness. Most hunters would take it slow, clear each floor step by step. But Tanaka? He doesn't have the energy for that. So he makes a decision. He's going straight to the bottom because for him, the faster he finishes, the faster he can sleep. He stands at the edge like his face empty, his body barely holding together. All he wants is food, a bed, maybe just a few hours of peace. The drone hovers behind him, capturing everything, and his quiet voice, filled with exhaustion, echoes into the stream. He's tired, he's underpaid, and he knows it. The viewers hear every word. Now no one is joking anymore. The chat fills with concern. People start calling out the Black Dog Guild, questioning how something like this is even allowed. The viewer count climbs, 3, 20, and rising fast because deep down, everyone watching is thinking the same thing. How did it get this bad? And more importantly, what's about to happen next? Tanaka remains completely unaware of what's happening around him, calmly reaching for his blade as if this is just another routine task. Then suddenly, his phone starts buzzing. Non-stop. He pauses, slightly annoyed. What is this now? More calls, more interruptions. He glances at it briefly, clearly irritated. In his mind, there's only one explanation. Work. Probably his bosses. Or someone calling just to dump more tasks on him. And honestly, yeah, that sounds about right. He quietly decides to ignore it. If he answers, it's just going to make things worse. So instead, he focuses on what actually matters. Finishing the job. He steps closer to the edge of the massive drop before him, his coat lightly fluttering in the cold air. Below him lies the central pit of the Shibuya underground dungeon, a deep vertical abyss that stretches straight down like a hollow needle piercing the earth. For most explorers, this place is a nightmare. A single mistake here means death. But Tanaka? He sees it as a shortcut. Of all things, a shortcut. With a tired breath, he mutters his destination, the lowest level, and then, without hesitation, he steps off. Just a man trying to save 15 minutes of work. As he falls into the darkness, his journey truly begins. And somehow, it starts with the most unimpressive motivation possible. He just wants to go home early. While his body drops rapidly through the abyss, Tanaka remains completely calm. To him, this isn't a deadly fall. It's just the fastest way down. If he survives, great. If not, well, at least he won't have to finish the paperwork. Okay, maybe that's a bit too real. Meanwhile, on the other side of the screen, chaos breaks out. The DTube chat explodes instantly. Viewers panic as they watch a man in a suit casually falling to his death. Some of them are already convinced they're witnessing something illegal. Others can't even look away. And Tanaka? He just stares blankly at the passing cave walls. Even now, his phone keeps buzzing in his pocket. Call after call. Message after message. Like the outside world is desperately trying to drag him back. He sighs quietly, probably nothing important. And just like that, he ignores it again. Honestly, the level of commitment to avoiding work calls is almost impressive. The wind rushes past him as he continues falling, his body perfectly steady despite the speed. Then he notices something. The drone. Still there. Still following him. Still recording everything. Even now. Even during a free fall into what should be certain death. The company really doesn't miss a thing. It's almost scary. At this point, it feels like even if he dies, they'll still expect the footage. He glances at it for a moment, slightly uncomfortable. He's not used to being watched. Not like this. He briefly wonders what it would be like to actually stream like those popular creators. Getting comments, donations, support. Would anyone even watch him? Would anyone care? The irony is kind of painful because right now, thousands of people are watching. The Aichuan stream spreads rapidly online, gaining attention at an insane speed. 200 viewers, then more, then even more. People flood into the stream, drawn by the bizarre sight of a lifeless office worker falling endlessly into darkness. They start asking questions. How long is he going to fall? Is this even real? Is this guy insane? And then finally, the bottom comes into view. Tanaka slightly adjusts his posture midair, preparing for the landing with precise control. But he's not alone. Waiting below him is a massive shadow. A red wyvern. A deadly predator that dominates the middle levels. It looks up and sees him. A perfect target. The creature roars loudly, spreading its wings as it prepares to devour the falling human in one clean bite. For anyone else, this would be the end. The chat already accepts it. They assume he's dead. No hesitation. No chance. But Tanaka, he's just bored. A wyvern. That's it? To him, this isn't a life or death situation. It's just something in the way. As the monster lunges upward, jaws wide open, ready to snap him in half, Tanaka calmly draws his blade. Just precise timing. Because right now, his biggest concern isn't survival. It's not getting blood on his shirt. Yeah, priorities. In the exact moment before impact, everything changes. A flash of light cuts through the darkness. So fast, it's almost invisible. The drone barely captures it. And in that single instant, the wyvern is sliced clean in half. Just one perfect strike. The massive creature doesn't even finish its roar before its body splits apart, falling into two lifeless pieces. And Tanaka? He keeps falling, like nothing happened. He passes through the remains without even reacting, descending toward the ground below. The viewers are completely stunned. No one speaks. No one understands what they just saw. Because that wasn't normal. That wasn't even close to normal. A single man, in a suit, just erased a monster that entire teams struggled to defeat. And he did it midair, without effort, without emotion, without even slowing down. Moments later, Tanaka hits the ground, hard. The impact sends a massive cloud of dust flying in every direction, covering everything. The screen goes unclear. For a few seconds, no one knows what happened. Then, the remains of the wyvern crash down behind him, shaking the entire cavern. The dust slowly settles. And there he is, standing, alive, completely fine. Tanaka casually brushes dust off his suit, adjusting his tie like he just walked out of a meeting. He lets out a small breath. That landing wasn't bad. Professional, as always. The chat explodes again. People are losing their minds. Did he just one-shot a wyvern? Was that even visible? Some viewers replay the clip again and again, trying to understand it. But Tanaka? He's just rubbing his legs. They feel numb after the fall. That's his only concern. Not the monster, not the insane feat he just pulled off. Just numb legs? Meanwhile, the stream reaches 50,000 viewers. Across the world, people are tuning in, witnessing what they believe is the rise of a new legend. But the man at the center of it all? He couldn't care less. His phone starts buzzing again. He sighs and silences it without even checking. Whoever it is, it can wait. Right now, he still has work to do. Fame doesn't matter. Attention doesn't matter. Only the quota matters. He slowly lifts his head and looks forward into the darkness ahead. And what waits for him there is an army. Tyrant dragons. Giant trolls. An overwhelming force that would terrify even elite hunters. But Tanaka just stares at them with empty eyes. This is the final stretch. His final task of the night. He lets out a quiet sigh and steps forward. Tanaka Makoto stands at the lowest level, surrounded by monsters on every side. He looks around calmly, naming them one by one like he's going through a list. Trolls, minotaurs, basilisks, death knights. Each one is dangerous, creatures that could wipe out entire teams. But his voice stays flat, almost empty. To him, they are not threats. They are just targets he needs to clear. Then his eyes settle on something bigger, the tyrant dragon. He pauses for a moment, clearly not pleased. Not because he's afraid, but because it means more work. A quiet sigh escapes him as he adjusts his grip and draws his sword. Time to work. The words come out dry, like someone starting another long shift. Before he can move further, a group of massive ogres charges at him, roaring loudly as they close the distance. Their heavy steps shake the ground. Their weapons slam down with brutal force. But Tanaka doesn't stop. He moves forward, slipping past them with calm, controlled steps. To him, they are just in the way. While moving, he quietly explains their nature. Trolls are strong and durable. They look intimidating. He even mentions they gave him trouble the first time he faced them. But now it's different. He avoids their attacks with small, precise movements, stepping around each swing with ease. Then he points out their weakness. Simple creatures. No special abilities, just one weak point. The neck. And the moment he acts, everything ends. His blade moves once, that's all it takes. The strike is so fast it's hard to follow. The next instant, heads fall. The bodies collapse shortly after, as if they don't even understand what just happened. To Tanaka, they are weak, but for anyone else, these monsters are a nightmare. On the other side of the screen, the stream is exploding. Viewers flood in, trying to understand what they are seeing. Many think it's fake, edited, impossible, because no one should be able to defeat monsters like that so easily. Tanaka's phone starts vibrating again in his pocket. Calls keep coming in without stopping. He frowns slightly, annoyed by the interruption. He assumes it's just coworkers bothering him again. He mutters that he's working and ignores it, completely unaware that thousands of people are now watching him. But the dungeon is not finished. The atmosphere suddenly changes. The air grows heavier. Then it appears. A massive basilisk rises in front of him. Its body is twisted and unnatural, like something out of a nightmare. Its eyes lock onto him without blinking. This time, Tanaka stops. For the first time, something in front of him feels different. His tired eyes sharpen slightly. Because this opponent might actually require effort. The chat goes completely insane. Viewers recognize the monster instantly, a rare high-level basilisk. Most of them have only heard stories about it. Very few have ever seen one alive. And now, it stands right in front of a man in a suit. The mystery hunter is about to face something almost legendary. The numbers keep climbing. 5 million viewers, then more. The stream breaks through milestones so fast it feels unreal, like the internet itself cannot keep up. But Tanaka stays focused. For a brief moment, his mind shifts from exhaustion to analysis. He recognizes the real danger immediately. Petrification breath. One mistake here is not just death, it is an instant failure. No backup, no recovery, no second chance. Just him, alone, against something that can end everything with a single breath. A true solo nightmare. His expression tightens slightly. The office worker mask slips for a second. Something sharper is underneath. He moves, fast. A sudden burst of motion cuts through the darkness as he closes the distance. The basilisk barely reacts, not fast enough. His blade flashes once and boom. The monster collapses before it can even release its breath. Silence follows. Tanaka doesn't even look back. He simply walks forward like it was just another task completed, like it meant nothing. And honestly, to him, it probably didn't. He glances at his drone again, still believing this is just internal company footage. A boring report. Nothing more. He even starts explaining the basilisk's weak point in a calm voice, like he's giving feedback after work. Meanwhile, the stream explodes beyond anything imaginable. 10 million viewers. And still rising. To the world watching, this is no longer just a strong fighter. It looks like a myth stepping into reality. A godlike swordsman appearing in modern Japan. But Tanaka Makoto doesn't see any of that. He is still thinking like an employee finishing documentation. And the constant buzzing in his pocket? More annoying than any monster. He assumes it is just his boss again. Probably more complaints. More insults. So he ignores it completely, because finishing the job matters more than anything else. Then the atmosphere changes. The dungeon goes silent in a way that feels heavy. Something massive begins to move in the darkness. A deep, bone-shaking roar echoes through the entire cavern. The final presence arrives. The tyrant dragon. An S-rank monster. Massive. Ancient. Overwhelming. Its scales shine with a dangerous glow, like burning metal under pressure. Just its presence alone feels suffocating. It is stronger, faster, and far more dangerous than anything before it. One mistake here does not just mean death. It means total annihilation. But Tanaka's reaction is simple. He looks tired, nothing else. Like someone staring at the final task of a very long shift. Above him, the stream is falling apart in real time. People are panicking, screaming in the chat, begging for help. The viewer count explodes past 50 million. What a milestone. Everyone is waiting for the moment it all goes wrong. The S-rank Tyrant Dragon stands in front of Tanaka, its massive body radiating pressure and heat that warps the air. One hit from that thing looks like it could erase everything. Tanaka just stares at it, tired eyes half-focused, hand already on his sword. Too strong to block, too dangerous to trade hits. So he lowers his stance. The live stream chat goes crazy, calling him insane and telling him to run. He does not react. The dragon moves first. A massive blast of fire erupts, swallowing the entire battlefield in an instant. Rock, dust, and light vanish inside the explosion. For a moment, Tanaka is gone. Then the dragon follows up with a brutal tail sweep through the flames, tearing the ground apart. Everything looks destroyed, and then Tanaka appears, running straight through it, unharmed. He moves like he already knows the battlefield by memory. Fire, debris, shockwaves, nothing slows him down. The dragon finally locks onto him too late. Tanaka closes the distance in a blink. His hand shifts. He draws his sword. A sharp shockwave tears through the air as he strikes. The blade flashes once, and the tyrant dragon freezes. A deep cut runs through its massive body. A split second later, the entire monster splits cleanly into two halves. The upper and lower body fall apart, crashing into the ground with a deafening impact. Dust explodes everywhere. The S-rank tyrant dragon is gone. Tanaka stands in the aftermath, sword still in hand, completely still. He looks at the remains for a moment, like he is checking off a task. Then he exhales slightly, like the real problem is still ahead. Because it is. From the darkness, more high-rank monsters step out. Trolls, a minotaur, and an armored knight-like creature surround him, slowly closing in. Tanaka shifts his grip again, not worried, just tired. Like this is all just another shift that refuses to end. The dust finally settles, and what's left behind is pure madness. The tyrant dragon, the boss of them all, lies on the ground, completely sliced in half, like it was nothing more than a giant lizard. Yeah, that's definitely not normal. The remaining creatures freeze in place. Trolls, knights, minotaurs, all of them stunned, because they just witnessed something terrifying. And Tanaka, he doesn't even care about the glory. Instead, he's thinking about company materials. Seriously, after all that, that's what's on his mind? He casually reflects that even if he defeats them, the materials will just go to the company anyway. Plus, he's already hit his quota, so why work more for free? Yeah, fair point. With the same energy as someone packing up after a long office shift, he smoothly sheaths his blade. Then, without even looking back, he tells the remaining monsters to leave. Just like that. And the monsters don't hesitate. Not even for a second. They scatter in pure panic, running for their lives, because they know a real predator just showed up. Tanaka exhales, slightly relieved. He finishes earlier than expected. As he walks through the massive trench carved by his own attack, his thoughts drift to something much simpler. Getting his materials, going home, sleeping. But first, he checks his phone. It's 23:23. He glances at the screen and instantly freezes. His eyes widen, his entire body stiffens. Unread notifications. 9,999. Wait, what? A bad feeling creeps in as he slowly taps the screen. The quiet dungeon is broken by the faint click of his phone turning on. And then, 9,999 notifications? His face twists in pure horror. He knew people might try to contact him, sure, but this is something else entirely. His heart starts pounding as he scrolls. The screen is flooded. Endless alerts, messages, comments. You have received a comment on DTube. Tanaka's blood runs cold. DTube? Why is he getting streaming notifications right now? He looks closer and his jaw drops. His own face is staring back at him. On a live stream. Wait, what? Comments are flying across the screen. People are watching him. Right now. The realization hits him like a truck. He hasn't been recording a private report. He's been live. The entire time. Like seriously, how does someone mess up that badly? His brain scrambles to make sense of it. He tries to recall the settings. He definitely set it to company only. Right? He checks again. And there it is. Clear as day. Public settings. Anyone can view. Yeah, he messed up. The man who just defeated an S-rank dragon is now defeated by a drop-down menu. He slowly looks up at the drone hovering above him. That tiny machine has been broadcasting everything, every move, every fight, to the entire Japan. A cold sweat runs down his back. So everything has been streamed nationwide? He gulps and looks back at the screen, hoping, praying the viewer count is low. Then he sees it. 100 million. His soul practically leaves his body. 100 million viewers. Not thousands. Not even millions. 100 million. Even the biggest streamers in the world would struggle to hit that number. And this guy, he did it by accident. While trying to finish a work report, social media is exploding. Corporate slave swordmaster is trending everywhere. People are calling him cool, asking for his name, begging him to join their guilds, all because he fought an S-rank dragon in a business suit. Yeah, that's one way to get noticed. Tanaka tries to process it, but it's too much. The comments keep pouring in, faster and faster. A tidal wave of attention he can't escape. He finally understands. His quiet life is over. No explanation he gives now is going to fix this. The world has already seen everything. His power, his identity, his secret. There's no going back. The weight of it all crashes down on him. And for the first time, Tanaka drops to his knees. Not defeated by monsters, not by dragons, but by a settings menu. He just stares at the screen, completely overwhelmed, exhausted, panicked, lost. As the stream continues to broadcast his breakdown to millions, one thought echoes in his mind. Maybe, just maybe, if he goes home, gets under his blanket and sleeps, this will all turn out to be a bad dream. Yeah, if only it were that simple. The very next day, Tanaka Makoto is completely shut down. He's curled up on his sofa, wrapped tightly in a blanket like he's trying to disappear from the world itself. Only his eyes peek out, pale and exhausted. He groans quietly. Yeah, he knows it already. He's trending. The nightmare he accidentally broadcasted? It's everywhere. He grabs his phone and instantly regrets it. The news is flooded with his face. Headlines scream about the mysterious explorer who soloed an S-rank tyrant dragon and pulled in 100 million viewers on his first stream. Of all things, first stream. Then there's social media. It's even worse. Millions of views, tens of millions of likes, endless reposts. The internet is completely obsessed with this corporate slave swordmaster. Scrolling through the comments feels dangerous. People are shocked by his strength, questioning how someone like him stayed hidden for so long. Others are confused why a guy this powerful is stuck in a place like Black Dog Guild. Some even think it's fake, while others just want his contact info. Yeah, that's not stressful at all. It's too much. Tanaka tosses his phone aside and buries his face in his hands. This isn't what he wanted, not even close. He just wanted a quiet life, not a global fan base. Is this what people call going viral? Because honestly, it feels more like a disaster. After years of grinding nonstop, he's completely lost when it comes to this internet chaos. Fighting monsters? Easy. Dealing with millions of people watching him? Not so much. He realizes one thing quickly. He needs help. Someone who actually understands this kind of situation. Thinking back, he's always worked alone. Solo diving means he never really compares himself to others. In his mind, he's just been doing his job all this time. Sure, he knew he was strong, but this level, he never saw it coming. His thoughts drift to his younger self, a cautious kid in a safety helmet. Somewhere along the way, things changed. A lot. He glances at his reflection and frowns slightly. Is it because he just looks like a tired office worker? With his plain suit and heavy dark circles, he definitely doesn't look like the hero everyone is hyping up. And then, his phone starts ringing. The screen lights up. A call from Adachi. Of course, now. The phone keeps buzzing across the sofa. Tanaka just stares at it, already knowing what this is about. He lets out a frustrated groan as it keeps vibrating. At this point, even an S-rank monster would be less annoying. The pressure builds. He even tries to ignore it completely, like maybe it'll just stop if he pretends it doesn't exist. It doesn't. The buzzing keeps going. It feels like the internet itself is chasing him. He looks at the name again. Adachi, one of the few people from his past. Someone he hasn't even talked to properly in a long time because of work. And yeah, this call is definitely about yesterday, which makes it even worse. After a long pause, he finally gives in. He answers. Adachi's voice instantly bursts through the phone, loud and full of energy. He laughs, clearly entertained, saying he saw everything and asking how Tanaka is holding up. Yeah, he's enjoying this way too much. Tanaka ignores the tone and tries to steady himself, stretching like he's forcing his body back into routine. Almost like nothing happened. But it doesn't work. With a tired sigh, he asks what Adachi wants. No patience left. No mood for jokes. Adachi tries to hold back his laughter and promises not to tease him again, though it's pretty obvious he's struggling. Tanaka isn't buying it. He even threatens to hang up, but deep down he knows he can't. He needs help. Real help. And Adachi is probably the only person who can give it. Back in school, Adachi was always surrounded by people. Confident, social, well-connected. The complete opposite of Tanaka. If anyone can navigate this mess, it's him. Adachi finally calms down and gets serious. He says he saw the video and admits Tanaka is even stronger than before. But Tanaka doesn't care about compliments. He just wants a solution. What should he do? Adachi pauses for a moment, then asks something simple but heavy. What does Tanaka want? The answer comes instantly. He wants all the videos gone, deleted, erased, like none of this ever happened. But Adachi just laughs. That's not happening. The clips are already everywhere. Re-uploaded, shared, translated. They're spreading overseas as they speak. There's no stopping it now. The damage is done. He even shows Tanaka the headlines, people calling him a real-life samurai. His clips are already translated into multiple languages. This isn't just local anymore. It's global. Tanaka stares at the screen in disbelief, holding his head. How did it even get this far? He wants control, but Adachi shuts that idea down immediately. The internet doesn't forget. There's no undo button here. Tanaka tries to argue he's just a normal salaryman, not an influencer, not someone who wants attention. In fact, to him, fame just means more work, more pressure, probably more tasks dumped on him by his boss. But Adachi can't believe what he's hearing. Who in the world gets 100 million views on their first stream and wants to throw it away? The stress starts hitting Tanaka physically. He clutches his stomach, wincing in pain. It's almost ironic. He can handle acid slime that melts steel. But this is what breaks him. And Adachi doesn't hold back anymore. He calls him exactly what he is, a complete corporate slave. And then he says it straight, maybe it's time to quit. Adachi doesn't sugarcoat it. He points straight at the obvious. Those dark circles under Tanaka's eyes didn't appear for no reason. Suda has been overworking him for years, paying him almost nothing in return. Sitting there on the sofa, Tanaka doesn't even argue. He knows it's true. The moment Suda's name comes up, a memory surfaces. The three of them, Tanaka, Adachi, and Suda, used to be childhood friends. Back in elementary school, they were just normal kids playing together. But somewhere along the way, Suda changed. While the others stayed human, he turned into something else entirely. A shark. Tanaka's loyalty comes from a debt. When his parents fell ill, Suda lent him money. At the time, it meant everything. But Adachi cuts through that instantly. He reminds Tanaka that the debt has long been repaid, through years of exhausting, brutal work. More than repaid. It's time to move on. The words hit harder than expected. Live for yourself. Tanaka repeats it quietly, almost like he doesn't understand it. After spending so long as just another cog in the machine, he doesn't even know what that means anymore. The idea of choosing his own path feels unfamiliar. Honestly, a bit scary. He realizes something uncomfortable. He's been so focused on surviving that he never stopped to think about what he actually wants. Freedom, in a strange way, feels more intimidating than any dungeon boss. Adachi guesses Suda probably fed him the usual line, that he'd never survive outside the company. Tanaka confirms it without hesitation. Staring at his rough, worn hands, he asks something that says everything. Is he even allowed to live for himself? Adachi laughs it off, calling Suda exactly what he is, a corrupt president. Then he makes it clear. With Tanaka's strength, plenty of guilds would fight to recruit him. The problem isn't opportunity, it's that Tanaka doesn't see his own worth. Adachi suggests going freelance, but Tanaka immediately shuts it down. Reality kicks in. Freelancing doesn't guarantee income. Without the right qualifications, he can't even convert dungeon loot into usable money. No boss means no paycheck. He explains the system. Dungeon items are first converted into a special currency called G, short for gold. Then that G is converted into actual yen. But that second step requires a high-level license, something only major corporations usually have. In other words, explorers like him are stuck relying on companies. It's a system designed to keep people exactly where they are. And yeah, it's annoying. But it exists for a reason. If everyone could freely cash out dungeon loot, the global economy would collapse. The value of those items is just too high to leave unregulated. So Tanaka feels trapped. But Adachi isn't done yet. He clarifies, he's not telling Tanaka to become a freelancer. He's telling him to become a dungeon streamer. The idea is simple. Stream the dives. Let people watch. Earn directly from viewers. No licenses, no middlemen. A clean loophole. For someone as strong and now as famous as Tanaka, it's perfect. Tanaka knows streamers can make serious money, but doubt creeps in immediately. Is he really suited for that? Does he even have the personality for it? Right now, his confidence is at rock bottom. Adachi doesn't hesitate. He promises to support him however he can. For once, Tanaka won't be alone in figuring things out. That actually hits. Tanaka looks at his phone, feeling something he hasn't felt in a while. Reassurance. Adachi isn't just talking. He knows what he's doing. He works in a company that supports explorers. He understands this world. For the first time in a while, Tanaka smiles. A small one, but real. He tells Adachi he's counting on him. Adachi laughs, clearly relieved to see his friend finally showing some life again, but even then, the fear doesn't disappear. Walking away from a stable job, even a bad one, isn't easy. The word unemployed weighs heavily on him. The unknown still feels risky no matter how many people are cheering for him online. To Tanaka, a bad job still feels safer than no job at all. After a pause, he admits something unexpected. He used to admire explorers. Adachi is genuinely surprised. It's a side of Tanaka he hasn't seen in years. Beneath all the exhaustion, that old passion is still there, just buried. Adachi pulls up footage of Tanaka's fight on his tablet and smiles. Watching someone that powerful makes him feel like he doesn't need to risk his own life in the dungeons. He'd rather support people like that. That's why he chose his path. He wanted to be ready for someone like Tanaka. Tanaka goes quiet. He understands what Adachi means, even if he doesn't show it clearly. Adachi teases him a little, pointing out how slow he is for not realizing the obvious. Tanaka, completely serious, asks who he's talking about. Yeah, that's still clueless. To lighten things up, Adachi jokingly offers him a job as a waiter at his company if dungeon life doesn't work out. Tanaka actually laughs. A rare, genuine laugh. He jokes that something must be wrong with him if that sounds appealing. Bit by bit, the tension fades. Before ending the call, Adachi reminds him of one simple truth. A man who can kill a tyrant dragon has no reason to fear someone like Suda. That sticks. Tanaka thanks him sincerely and hangs up. Then, without wasting time, he heads right back into the routine he's trying to escape. The next morning, he's already at his desk. 7:58 a.m., 2 minutes before another day begins. The office is quiet. Too quiet. There's a heavy tension in the air, then footsteps. Slow, confident, echoing through the hallway. Tanaka doesn't move. He just sits there, eyes forward, as the atmosphere suddenly turns cold. The door bursts open. Suda walks in. Behind him, 2 massive men follow like shadows. He carries himself with arrogance, a smug grin spreading across his face as he looks down at Tanaka, like he still owns him. He drags out Tanaka's name mockingly, clearly enjoying the moment. Then he laughs, a sharp, unpleasant sound, and leans in slightly. He tells Tanaka to be ready for what's coming. Oh, he's seen the video. And in his mind, this just means one thing. Tighten the leash. But what Suda doesn't realize is that the man sitting in front of him is already planning to walk away. Back at the Black Dog Guild office, the air feels heavy. Suda is already going off, shouting at Tanaka Makoto like nothing has changed. His voice fills the room, loud and sharp, blaming Tanaka for the chaos caused by the accidental stream. Tanaka clutches his stomach as the familiar wave of stress hits. But something is different this time. He doesn't break. After his talk with Adachi, he's seeing things more clearly. For once, he isn't shrinking under the pressure, he just stands there, calm, steady, watching. Suda keeps yelling, claiming the company's reputation is ruined. His face twists with anger as he demands to know how Tanaka plans to take responsibility for something the entire world has already seen. Then comes the warning. The other employees will be here soon, and Tanaka better be ready to be humiliated in front of all of them. Yeah, a classic. Tanaka watches him quietly and realizes something simple. Suda isn't special. This isn't leadership, it's just bullying. The same routine he's been using for years, break people down until they stop fighting back. That's how these companies survive. And Tanaka has lived in that cycle for far too long. In the background, Suda even snaps at another employee for being a few seconds late, threatening to cut their pay without hesitation. Tanaka narrows his eyes. He did feel grateful once, but not anymore. Suda keeps talking, pretending all of this is for their own good. The employees around them lower their heads, apologizing, trembling, trapped in fear. Tanaka sees through it now. Suda doesn't care about anyone. He just enjoys the control, the power, The way people can't fight back. Honestly, it's pathetic. Tanaka's stomach still tightens, but the fear isn't the same. It doesn't control him anymore. Then his phone vibrates. A message from Adachi. The timing couldn't be better. Tanaka reads it, and the advice is simple, almost ridiculous. Just think. He could end this guy instantly. For a second, everything goes quiet. Suda keeps mocking him, assuming Tanaka's discomfort is just another excuse. But Tanaka isn't even listening anymore. His eyes change. Cold. Focused. He looks at Suda, really looks at him. And suddenly it's obvious. So many openings. In his mind, he sees it clearly. One move, 1 second. That's all it would take. That's the difference between them. Suda pauses for a moment, caught off guard by the shift in Tanaka's presence. Those tired, lifeless eyes now feel sharp. Dangerous? For the first time, something feels off. Tanaka looks away, and it clicks. He was never afraid of Suda. He was afraid of losing his job. Compared to an S-rank dragon, this man is nothing. His fist tightens slightly. He doesn't feel trapped anymore. If anything, he's ready. I can do this. The office door opens as the late employees rush in, apologizing over and over. Suda barely acknowledges them, already calculating how much he can cut from their pay. Now he has an audience. Perfect. He steps forward with a smug grin, ready to put on a show. His eyes lock onto Tanaka as he prepares to break him in front of everyone. He tells him to speak, to admit what he's done, to confess, right here, right now. But this time, Tanaka doesn't look like someone who's about to bow his head. The other employees watch in silence, their faces filled with pity and fear. They've seen this before. Suda always follows the same pattern. Force someone to explain themselves, break them down piece by piece, then take control. He waits for that exact moment when fear takes over. That moment when people give up. He's expecting it again. Tanaka begins speaking, calmly taking responsibility for the stream. To Suda, it sounds like complete surrender. Exactly what he wants. A slow, cruel grin spreads across his face as he leans in, ready to crush what little spirit Tanaka has left. In his mind, this is already over. But today is different. As Suda starts demanding compensation, Tanaka simply looks at him. Calm, steady, unshaken. He's done. When he speaks again, his voice is clear. He admits the guild is getting backlash online, but then he says something no one expects. It's Suda's fault, and he has nothing to do with it. The room goes completely silent. Suda freezes, his expression twisting in disbelief. The employees in the background stiffen, bracing for what comes next. Then it hits. Suda explodes. His face turns red as he shouts, demanding Tanaka repeat himself. He lashes out, kicking nearby furniture, his anger filling the room. The others shrink back, terrified, but Tanaka doesn't move. He calmly points out the truth. Suda knows exactly what kind of place this is. A black company built on exploitation. And now, the world knows it too. He's only responsible for his own actions, not the rot of the entire guild. Suda refuses to accept it. He shouts back, claiming they aren't a black company at all. They pay minimum wage. They even give 1 day off a month. Like that's something to brag about. He calls it generosity. Says he's helping people no other guild would hire. Tanaka just looks at him, already knowing how this sounds to anyone watching. Because the truth is worse. Years of stolen wages, broken laws. Everyone here knows it, even if they're too scared to say it. Tanaka steps forward. Now he's not just defending himself, he's confronting him. He asks one simple question. Did he really think no one would notice? The words cut deep. For a moment, Suda tries to hold on to his authority, claiming he's practically untouchable because of his connections. But it's empty. Just noise. Tanaka exhales quietly. There's no saving this man. Behind them, the Black Dog Guild logo hangs like a symbol of everything wrong with this place. And the employees? They're already thinking about leaving. Suda just doesn't see it yet. He keeps talking, keeps boasting, completely unaware of what's about to happen. Tanaka reaches into his pocket and pulls out his phone. His expression doesn't change. He calls it a shame, because Suda has already said more than enough. Then, with a simple motion, he shows him the screen, everything, the conversation, the shouting, the admissions. All of it has been live. For a second, Suda doesn't understand. Then it hits. His face goes pale. Sweat starts pouring down as his voice shakes. He asks what this is, but he already knows. He's been exposed. The screen is flooded with comments. People are watching in real time, calling him out, mocking every excuse he made. Some are even demanding legal action. The entire world is witnessing his downfall. Tanaka calmly explains. The drone has a camouflage mode. It's been recording everything without Suda noticing. Simple, effective, over. Suda can't even respond anymore. The man who ruled through fear is now completely powerless, crushed under the weight of his own words. Meanwhile, the stream keeps growing. More viewers join every second. They're not here for the guild, they're here to watch it fall. Tanaka looks at him one last time and tells him it's over. Time to face the consequences. And just like that, the power dynamic flips completely. In the background, the comments keep pouring in, praising Tanaka, calling him the face of every overworked employee who never had the chance to fight back. For once, the system loses, and Tanaka Makoto is the one who breaks it. The tension in the office finally snaps. Suda Akihiro suddenly lunges forward, a crazed grin on his face, a knife clutched tightly in his hand. But Tanaka Makoto doesn't flinch. His tired eyes stay calm, almost bored. As the blade comes closer, something catches his attention. The hilt. It has an eye. A living, pulsating eye. Yeah, that's not normal. Tanaka instantly recognizes it. That's a high lethality dungeon weapon, the kind that should never leave the depths. Bringing something like that outside is a direct violation of the law. Suda just crossed a line he can't come back from. But Suda doesn't care. He charges in, screaming, completely consumed by rage. The employees can only watch in horror. They've seen his temper before, but this is something else. Total loss of control. From Tanaka's perspective, though, everything slows down. Suda's movements are messy, wild, predictable. Honestly, slow. Slower than the monsters he fights daily. That's when it becomes clear. Suda isn't dangerous. He's just desperate. With a small shift in stance, Tanaka moves. One clean motion. The knife is gone. It spins through the air, knocked away like it never mattered. Suda screams, staring at his hand as pain shoots through his fingers. His grip is completely shattered. His confidence goes with it. Tanaka steps forward, looking down at him. Cold. Final. It's over. For a moment, Suda tries to speak, tries to shout something back, but Tanaka doesn't give him the chance. His fist tightens, and then impact. The punch lands like an explosion. Suda is launched across the office, crashing through desks and chairs like they're made of paper. The shockwave sends everything flying, documents, furniture, even the employees ducking for cover. His scream cuts off mid-air. A second later, he slams into the far wall with a deafening crash, right under a sign that reads, "The President is God." Yeah, not anymore. He collapses to the floor, buried in the wreckage of his own office. Defeated. Completely. Tanaka exhales slowly and adjusts his suit like he just finished another task. After months of stress and pressure, he actually feels lighter. Better. He turns and starts walking toward the door, passing by the stunned employees. Part of him hopes Suda learned something from that. After all, he held back. But then, a voice. Suda isn't done. He drags himself up against the cracked wall, bleeding, shaking, but his eyes still burn with anger. He mutters that he won't forgive this. Yeah, that's still stubborn. Tanaka pauses for a moment, watching him. If Suda keeps pushing, this could get worse. And Tanaka doesn't want that. He's not trying to kill anyone. He just wants peace. But Suda, desperate to regain control, turns to his staff and starts screaming. He orders them to attack, to take Tanaka down. The room freezes. No one moves. They look at each other, unsure, terrified. When they hesitate, Suda explodes again, calling them useless, threatening them like always. But now, it sounds weaker, desperate. He starts targeting them one by one, threatening their jobs, their futures, trying to force obedience through fear. Tanaka stands near the door, completely unimpressed. Same tactics, same noise. Suda locks onto a young employee, yelling at him directly. He threatens to ruin his career, cut his pay, anything to make him act. The poor guy is stuck. On one side, a boss who could destroy his future. On the other, a man who just destroyed the office with a single punch. Not exactly a fair choice. The room holds its breath. Slowly, the young employee steps forward, head lowered, forced into a position he never wanted to be in. With tears in his eyes, the employee stammers out an apology. He says he'll only try to restrain Tanaka. He doesn't want to hurt him. The room stays dead silent. Tanaka is still standing near the door, back turned, completely unmoved. Like the chaos behind him doesn't even register anymore. Honestly, at this point, what else can he even feel? He lets out a tired sigh. Sure, go on. Calm, flat, almost disappointed. The young employee gulps hard and forces himself forward, trembling as he prepares to act. Every step feels heavier than the last, like his body is refusing the order. And Tanaka still doesn't turn around. Not even once. And the poor guy actually does. He lunges forward with everything he has, diving straight for Tanaka's legs in a clean tackle that would work on almost anyone. But this is not almost anyone. Tanaka watches the movement as if time itself slows down. He sees the intention clearly. He sees the angle. He sees the mistake. The employee thinks he has him. He already loses. With a slight shift of weight and a small movement of his hand, Tanaka steps aside. The next sound in the room is a painful thud as the employee crashes face first into the floor. Tanaka barely uses any strength at all. The boy lies there groaning, a large bump already forming on his forehead. That is going to be a painful reminder later. In the background, Suda is still screaming nonstop. Threats, pay cuts, pure rage spilling out in every direction. Tanaka looks back at him with nothing but pity. Suda keeps yelling that Tanaka will not get away with this. But now his words sound less like authority and more like the desperate cries of someone losing control. Then Tanaka reveals the truth. He tells Suda to stop. The entire situation is being streamed live. Any reasonable person would freeze after hearing that. Suda does not. He screams that he built this company from nothing and he will not let Tanaka destroy it. In desperation, he calls for his strongest asset. He calls Gouda. Heavy footsteps echo through the office as a massive man walks forward. Thick muscles, calm breathing, eyes closed in focus. The size difference between him and Tanaka is almost hard to ignore. Tanaka's eyes narrow. This one is different. This is not an employee forced into action. Tanaka recognizes him immediately. Gouda is his junior. They have cleared dungeons together many times. Gouda holds an A-rank explorer license. He is not just strong, he is extremely dangerous. Suda knows this too. That is why he relies on him as the final enforcer. Suda shouts from behind, ordering Gouda to kill him. Tanaka watches carefully, calculating his next move. If this turns serious, even he will have to put in real effort. And then something completely unexpected happens. Gouda does not attack. Instead, he looks down at Tanaka with a soft expression and congratulates him for finally quitting. Tanaka just stares in disbelief. Gouda speaks with warmth and respect. He says Tanaka never belonged in a place like this. He deserves to be somewhere much greater. Tanaka remembers Gouda being almost silent during their dungeon runs. He always thought the younger man disliked him. It turns out the opposite is true. Behind them, Suda's face turns pale. His last hope is falling apart in front of him. He explodes, screaming at Gouda for betraying him and showing loyalty to someone he considers worthless. He cannot understand why his strongest subordinate would side with Tanaka. Then the air in the room shifts. Gouda turns and looks at Suda. One cold stare, and Suda falls silent. Gouda declares that Tanaka is the senior who taught him everything about being an explorer. No money, no position, no order will ever make him go against that. His loyalty is stronger than any paycheck. Tanaka watches this with a small smile. In his mind, he quietly admits something. Gouda has become so strong that if they truly fought, Tanaka might be the one in trouble. Suda is nearly foaming with rage in the background. Gouda turns back to Tanaka and calmly tells him to go ahead. He says he will take care of the president. Tanaka is genuinely surprised, but relief quickly follows. He gives Gouda a rare smile and pats his shoulder firmly. Gouda nods with complete loyalty. Behind them, Suda stands shaking with helpless anger as his best employee allows Tanaka to walk away freely. Tanaka turns his back on the chaos. He walks toward the exit with a strange lightness in his step, like someone finally escaping a long, suffocating tunnel. He reaches for the door handle, ready to leave this miserable company behind. And then, the door bursts open with a thunderous bang. A group of stern officials in dark uniforms rushes inside, catching everyone completely off guard. Nobody moves. A sharp voice orders the room to stay still. Silence falls instantly. The employees and Suda stare at the intruders in shock. They announce they have received a serious report. At the front of the group stands a striking woman with long black hair and a cold, professional gaze. She identifies them as the audit section of the association's management bureau. A woman steps forward from the group, and the entire room seems to grow quieter without anyone saying a word. Suda Akihiro, completely unaware of how bad his situation really is, suddenly bursts into loud, maniacal laughter. He thinks the tables have turned. He mocks Tanaka, convinced the officials are here to arrest him for attacking his boss. In Suda's mind, someone watching the live stream must have reported Tanaka's violence. He believes he has finally won. He shouts at the officials to hurry up and do their job, pointing directly at Tanaka. But the only sound that follows is the sharp metallic click of handcuffs. Suda's laughter dies instantly. He looks down. The steel is locked around his own wrists. His face drains of color as the truth hits him. The tables have not turned. They have flipped completely. Amatsuki wastes no time. She announces that Suda is under arrest for multiple violations of the Explorer Labor Standards Act and the Awakened Special Act. Behind them, the floating drone continues recording, a silent reminder that every single one of Suda's crimes has already been broadcast to the world. There are no excuses left. Suda stands frozen in disbelief and fear. Around him, the employees watch with mixed emotions as they realize that the long, dark rule of their tyrannical boss is officially over. Desperate, Suda starts shouting that there has been a mistake. He points at Tanaka, claiming he is the real victim. He accuses Tanaka of abusing powers meant to protect civilians. He throws out every excuse he can think of. Amatsuki lets out a long, tired sigh, clearly unimpressed. Tanaka simply watches with his usual exhausted expression, wondering when this whole mess will finally end. Amatsuki begins explaining the law in a calm, firm voice. The Awakened Special Act clearly states that awakened individuals are forbidden from using their powers outside dungeons without permission, especially against ordinary people. Tanaka listens quietly as his mind drifts to the nature of their world. Deep inside mysterious dungeons exists a strange substance called magic essence. When it enters a human body, that person becomes awakened and gains unique abilities, but those powers are not meant for petty personal conflicts. The law exists to keep awakened individuals restrained in society, like heavy chains limiting their actions. Suda screams again that he is the victim. Amatsuki shuts that down immediately. Because both Suda and Tanaka are awakened, the situation is judged differently. Tanaka's actions clearly fall under self-defense. Suda is the one at fault, completely. Suda's face twists with rage as he hears this. Amatsuki points out that he made the first move, and even escalated the situation by bringing a weapon into it. He has no one to blame but himself. Nearby, Guda visibly relaxes, relieved that Tanaka will not be punished for defending himself. Tanaka himself just feels thankful that this law will not drag him into another legal problem. He only wants this day to end, but Amatsuki is not done with him. She informs Tanaka that as a key witness and participant, he will need to come to the public office to give a formal statement. Tanaka's shoulders slump slightly. What a hassle. Amatsuki keeps looking at him, her gaze lingering longer than necessary. There is something more than duty in her eyes. Tanaka notices. He studies her face carefully. Something feels familiar. Then it clicks. He realizes he has seen her before. Amatsuki looks slightly hurt that he only recognizes her now. It becomes clear that they share a past. Suda's eyes widen in shock as he hears her full name spoken out loud. That Amatsuki Kanade? Tanaka, on the other hand, is quietly impressed. She has grown. She has risen incredibly high since the last time he saw her. She is not just an official, she is a major figure in this world. Suda's panic rises to another level. He stammers, asking what the chief of Subjugation Unit 1 is doing here. The law requires that a member of her elite unit be present when arresting an awakened, in case they try to use their powers to escape. Normal officers would not stand a chance. Suda's voice cracks as he demands to know why someone of her rank would come personally for this. He understands what it means. This is not a routine arrest. The government is treating his crimes with extreme seriousness. Tanaka quietly agrees in his mind. This is definitely excessive. As the leader of the elite Subjugation Unit 1, Amatsuki usually deals with S-rank disasters, not corrupt company presidents. But as Tanaka looks at her, he realizes something else. The little girl he once knew has grown into a truly formidable person.
Here I am.